I started working with glass when I was about 11 or 12 years old at a really, really cool program called Hilltop Artists. It's a program in Tacoma, Washington that takes in youth and pretty much just sets them up for success using glass. So glass is the tool that gets a lot of wheels rolling for some kids out in Tacoma. And so my older brother was a part of the program and he really inspired me to get into the program. And then through the program, I stuck with glass throughout my younger years until it was time to go to college. And then I went to Alfred University, where I just graduated a few weeks ago in the Sculptural and Dimensional Studies program, where they really focus on sculpture, but they offer glass, neon, kiln casting, ceramics, all sorts of cool things, and you get to really just like pick your own focus and kind of roll with it. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, congratulations on graduating. And what techniques do you work with?
So I started with primarily blowing glass, especially in a production setting, just kind of making glasswares to sell. And then I realized that there was a lot to be done with that. So I started my artistic journey in the glassblowing world and making vessels and, shapes and forms. And then through my time at Alfred, I got introduced to kiln casting and kiln working, where I have a lot of fun putting things in kilns and getting them really hot and seeing how the glass reacts to whatever I'm putting the glass on. But most recently, I have been studying neon, or tube bending, as some people call it. And that's where I'm really, really excited, especially these days, is you get to blow the glass, but then you get to fill it with gas and you get to deal with science and electricity, and then it glows and it makes everything really fun and exciting. So I'd say right now I'm primarily using neon, but I'm still blowing glass and doing other stuff on the sides, but really jamming out with the neon these days.
And do you incorporate other materials or mediums in your works?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, I do get really excited about glass processes, and that's where I find most of my work being glass. But I do use other materials from time to time. I use a lot of concrete or like cinder blocks. I've heard them called breeze blocks before. That was a cool one. Never heard that term. But I like I like putting glass over concrete and putting those in the kilns and just seeing how those two react. And the results, I'm not too sure yet. Those are still in the early stages and something I kind of do for fun that I find to be enjoyable to look at, but I don't really know what I'm doing or saying with those, so I haven't really shown those yet. But if I feel like the project needs other materials, if I feel like what I'm trying to say requires an additional medium, then I'll bring it in, but primarily I'm using glass.
And what would you say is the main source of inspiration for your designs?
I really like cities and like cityscapes, the bright flashing lights, and I really like advertisements because they're there's something really interesting about advertisements because they're trying to appeal to us and speak to us as humans, but the main goal is for them to sell us things and for them to get our money. So I really like, and you especially see those in big cityscapes and like with all the big lights and everything, but really all they're trying to do is sell you stuff. So that's where most of the inspiration for my work comes from, is other forms of advertisements or signage.
Yes, as you just mentioned, apart from sculpting, you work a lot with neon signage and how it affects our perception of consumer goods. So, how do you convey your social comment through the neon glass tubes?
Yeah, so I look to advertisements, especially ones that are a little bit more specific in what they're trying to say, like very directional signage, like parking signs and things that are like don't park here. So I really That's a good question. But yeah, I feel like neon is a medium or material that is already making a commentary if you look into it. So I feel like using neon, I'm able to use a language that's already been established by big corporations and even small businesses, but it's a language that already exists. And I'm just trying to use that and kind of subvert the application of it so that I can make those commentaries with the neon.
And what is your workplace like? Do you have a piece in progress you would like to show us or tell us about?
Right now I'm in a big transitional phase in my practice. So I just up and rooted from New York and I'm now living back in Washington State. And so I am not working on any big projects currently and I don't have anything to show, but I am hoping in the next few weeks that I can crack out the sketchbooks and get some projects rolling. Right now I'm focusing really on the craft of bending neon and I'm trying to get into the commercial aspects of it so that I can work in the industry and really learn the ins and outs. So my workspace right now is currently under a tarp, but I am working at a good friend of mine's. And right now I'm really just focusing on getting my skills up so that I can make some more involved projects.
And what are the main challenges in your practice?
Right now, at least, the main challenge is space and um just getting the materials and everything. I'd say the main challenge is actually installing the artwork and finding the places in which I find the artwork most appropriate. Because I don't know if I always believe that my artwork should be in the gallery setting. Sometimes I feel like my work would exist better with site specific in mind or out in the streets or near other advertisements or signage. So I think that the hardest part for me is actually finding the location and setting the right context.
And would like to know why you joined IBG Bulgaria and what was your experience?
So I joined IBG and this was a few years ago and I was really, really big on blowing glass at the time and I saw something on the internet and I was like, wow, this is great. They're bringing a bunch of people together from a bunch of different areas. And so I was really excited that it was a big community thing and it was bringing the glass community together, but also I was given the chance to bring my artwork to an audience that I didn't think was possible. So that was what was really, really cool about being a part of IBG was that I was able to share my artwork with a new audience, but also that I was being able to see a bunch of other artwork that I wouldn't have seen if I wasn't a part of IBG. So I think that that was definitely why I joined it, was to kind of expand, but also expose myself to new artworks and new places.
Well, we're very glad. That's our main goal as well.
Awesome.
And lastly, in your opinion, why is it important to introduce the public to contemporary glass art, both generally and in Bulgaria specifically?
Well, contemporary glass art, at least from my lens, the glass community and the glass world is very, very tight knit, and we're a small, close community. And I feel like exposing contemporary glass art to the public it's bringing us all out of our comfort, but it's also exposing people who may not understand that like the things that we drink water out of can be these amazing, beautiful objects, but also these amazing objects have the power to convey social commentary. And there's a lot that is being said in the glass world right now. And so I think that that's why it's important to expose the public to contemporary art, or well, glass art specifically, is just that there's so much happening. And sometimes it seems in the glass world it's kind of happening in a vacuum. So it's really, really great that y'all are exposing it and bringing it to a larger field. because there's a lot of really cool stuff going on, but it's not always being seen. So it's really good that it's being brought out there and a bunch of new people are seeing it. And also their idea of glass can change 100% by seeing like a piece of glass art versus, you know, a nice wine glass that they have in their cabinet.